What's going on, Internet? IG here again. And what? I'm looking at a Linux desktop? You gotta be kidding me. No, what I'm doing today is I'm having a quick dig around inside Solus, the Solus project. So it was one of the last videos that I did on my channel quite a while back before I went on a long hiatus. And I've been sort of experimenting with quite a few other things, in that time since I've been looking at this stuff. But really, for a long time, Linux was really starting to bore me, and there wasn't really a whole lot going on. But just in the last kind of couple of months or so, I've had a bit of time to just kind of play around with this desktop. And so I thought, what the heck, I'll just upload my thoughts on it and see where we go from there. So yeah, let's dig into this, and then I'll sort of share a few ideas that I might have with this channel towards the end. But the Solus project is one that I've watched with quite a bit of interest because it really captures what I think is a fantastic idea with a Linux distribution. That is, start from scratch using tools that you know work to create something that's really simple and really easy to get your head around. And that's what they've tried to accomplish here with the Solus project. What started out as Solus OS has obviously morphed and changed, and now it's become its own thing, featuring its own budgie desktop. Now, while it is a full-blown distribution with different desktop environments that you can choose from, it does feature its own flagship desktop environment, which to me, that's much more interesting than yet another GNOME or Mate or KDE distribution. And I also strongly identify, I think, with what they put on their website as kind of their values or their vision for what their operating system is. So it's something that's blissfully simple. There's really not much to it, but they want to create something that is both a rolling release that keeps things up to date, but also a really solid, stable platform for all of the people that they've listed here, for home or office developers, content creators, gamers, etc. And I think on one hand, it flies in the face of what a lot of people love about Linux, and that is something that is super customizable, something that's super tweakable. You can make it whatever you want. But I think what Solus does is presents a really simplified and really straightforward, lean and lightweight desktop that just kind of gets out of the way and lets you focus on whatever it is that you use your computer for. And it doesn't constantly nag you like other desktop environments that I could name to change things or it doesn't boast about its customizability, because honestly, it's not that customizable, but it's just enough that for someone like me who would want to just have a quality operating system that gets out of the way and lets me work, this is kind of what I would float towards, if that makes sense. So let's have a quick dig around the basic desktop environment. The budgie desktop is pretty evolutionary, and features keep getting added to it. But at the current standpoint, which we're in June of 2017, this is kind of how it looks. So we've got our sort of controls at the top here: volume, battery, internet, notifications, all that fun stuff. And when you hit the notifications one, or you hit that little button on the side, it'll pop out the notification center, I guess, if you want to call it that. We've seen stuff like this from Deepin, and obviously, it's become pretty standard now, even on Windows 10 and Mac OS, to have this kind of notifications shade. But what I really do like here is small touches, like the ability to independently control the input-output of your different audio, so you can independently adjust the volume there. And you've obviously got a list of all of the notifications that will bank up here, and you can dismiss them all at once, or you can address them one by one. You can also adjust the basic settings of the budgie desktop, not by hitting the settings button, but actually by hitting this little cog up here, and you can change the basic appearance and just sort of basic elements of the desktop, whether it's window decorations or what kind of widget theme you're using and that kind of thing. So I think it has just enough customization that would keep someone like me happy. I don't know if I'd call myself a power user, but it's close. But at the same time, it's super straightforward and doesn't give you any extra mess to deal with. So I think both its simplicity and its minimalism really appeals to me, and I'd love to see budgie keep developing and keep going in this sort of very lightweight trend. So in terms of the operating system itself, in terms of where its roots comes from, I believe it's based on the EO package system, which comes from, I think, from Pardus Linux way back in the day. And I think they're actually looking to create their own package system so that they're not sort of using old, outdated technology. So they're working on that. And yeah, I'll be curious to see where this distribution develops. I haven't really done a whole lot to it apart from like change the wallpaper and install Chrome, but you can kind of get a feel for some of the applications. They're all pretty basic stuff that we've seen a billion times before on different distros. So, you know, it is what it is. It's GTK based, and obviously from that standpoint, it actually handles the high DPI scaling pretty well. So on this display that I'm using at the moment, I actually have, I'm not actually using it, using the high DPI scaling settings, just because it's too much of a strain on the virtual video card inside the virtual machine that I'm using it. So I'm still using like a 1680 by 1050 or something like that. And that's, you know, that's fine. But I think, but I have tried it with the high DPI scalings on in a live environment, and it works quite well. GTK scales up pretty nicely these days, which is good to see. And it's one less barrier for a lot of modern hardware these days that use you know, high resolution displays. So yeah, all that said and done, the infrastructure that Budgie has is pretty minimal at this point. So in terms of their software center and the way that their updates are handled, this is definitely not the most full-featured software center out there. So I wouldn't exactly recommend this thing for beginners, but for those who have been around Linux for a while, like myself, who understand the basics of how Linux works, like myself, it's not that hard to get your head around, and it just kind of gets out of the way and lets you do what you want to do. They've got robust tools for the terminal in terms of adding and removing packages, but more importantly, I think the software center just gets out of the way and gets you to the main categories that most people who are running a Linux desktop are going to be interested in. Now, I will say that the repositories aren't quite as well fleshed out as what some of the Ubuntu derivatives and stuff like that are, just because they don't have the servers and the ability to churn out that level of package management. But it's actually not bad at all. They've got quite a few packages in here, and definitely a lot of the cool and trending apps in the Linux world. They've got them in here. And they've also got a really helpful section here for all your third-party stuff that's a bit harder to get to when it comes to, you know, independent repositories and all that kind of thing. So installing, you know, Spotify and Skype and stuff like that we use every day is actually pretty straightforward, which is great to see. So I think, in summing up everything about the Solus project, especially here in the Budgie desktop, it handles all the basics as you would expect it to in 2017. It doesn't fail on any of the fundamental pillars of what makes a good operating system. And I think it can really only go up from here. If the Solus project can maintain a really strong, clear vision for where they want to go with their desktop, then I think it'll be a compelling product for many years to come. So yeah, that's my thoughts regarding the Solus project. Let me know if you've tried this one out before, what your thoughts have been with it. And also I want to start doing a series on working in a web browser. And the idea behind the series would be that I would try to accomplish everything that I would normally do in a work week inside a web browser, because I think it's fascinating how far web apps have come, and how much you can actually get done inside a web browser, which could mean all kinds of things for portable productivity and all that fun stuff. So yeah, let me know in the comments below if there's any particular web apps or web services that you guys use on a regular basis that I could include in this series. It would probably be busted up over like 3 or 4 episodes so that I can cover different genres of apps and services, I suppose. So yeah, let me know what you think. Thank you so much for watching, and yeah, we'll see where this goes from here. Peace out, ladies and gentlemen.